Zelensky's war business empire is crumbling.
Meanwhile, Russia says it has taken full control of the eastern Ukrainian town of Avdiivka.
Russia is fast making inroads into Ukraine, and now shockingly, Zelensky is begging for peace. And the irony is that Zelensky is begging Russia's best friend for help, and that best friend is Saudi Arabia. Zelensky went to Saudi Arabia earlier this week, his agenda to discuss peace formula with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He also wants MBS to help Ukraine secure the release of prisoners of war. And adding to that, Ukraine also wants Saudi Arabia's money. Zelensky said he wanted economic cooperation and the participation of Saudi Arabia in the reconstruction of Ukraine. It seems like there is no common sense left. The best friend of your enemy is not your best friend. The basic question here is, why is Zelensky traveling to Saudi Arabia? I know they are rich, they can afford to spend billions on a war, but they are not fools. They understand geopolitics better than old senile leaders of the West. They are Russia's best friends, both Saudi Arabia and UAE. They all collectively control OPEC Plus and the flow of energy in global markets. Russia and Arab countries are allies, and they have this mutual understanding. In the face of Western sanctions, while Saudi Arabia and UAE sold their overpriced oil and gas to Europe, Russia sold oil to traditional Arab customers like India and China. You see, that's the level of their mutual understanding. It is simply stupid of Ukraine to beg for any help from Saudi Arabia. The only viable option left with Ukraine is to let go the piece of land currently under occupation and negotiate a peace deal with the Kremlin. After all, Ukraine has no leverage against Russia now. It has been completely overpowered by Russia on the battlefield, and even the NATO allies have also backed out. Several NATO countries, including the US, Germany, and the UK, ruled out deploying ground troops to Ukraine after French President Emmanuel Macron said nothing should be excluded. While speaking to media, Macron on Monday said, "We should not exclude that there might be a need for security that then justifies some elements of deployment." Macron's statement triggered a fiery response from Russia. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov warned of direct conflict if NATO decides to deploy troops in Ukraine, and soon after, Putin's fear gripped entire military alliance, and every major nation quickly turned its back on Ukraine. In simple terms, Zelensky is behaving like an orphan who is desperately looking for rich Arab parents. Zelensky is so desperate for peace that he may even invite Russia to a peace conference where Western nations are also expected to be present. It seems Russia is no more a pariah state for Ukraine. And not just Ukraine, by the way, even the hawkish European media is also singing the tunes of peace these days. Euronews writes, "Can the Ukraine war end with a peace deal?" Of course, that is the only way. Or do you expect Ukraine to give Russia a bloody nose, huh? That's all for today. Subscribe to Outright for more such updates.